Hello guys, welcome to my channel. It's David Odile here, also known as Creative Dave. Today we're going to be doing a sports poster, a football poster for Riyadh Mahrez, the player for Manchester City. So before we do that, please do it to subscribe, like and comment on this video. 95% of you haven't subscribed to this channel. Please do it to subscribe so that my channel can grow and I can put up more stuffs for you like this. And do it to follow my Instagram and my Facebook, and click on the link in the description and the link in the description to follow my other pages and follow other things. Thank you very much. So let's get straight into the design of today. So we're going to be creating this flyer. We're going to be creating this poster, this football poster, and it has a lot of detail to it. But we are going to get it. So the first thing here is that we are going to create a new canvas as usual. It's canvas, Control N. So what we're using now is 1080 by 1350 pixels. The pixels here. Pixels and pixels width 1080, height 1350, resolution 300, and we're going to click on make sure the background is white and everything is good. We'll click on create. So we're going to press Ctrl 0 on our keyboard, and we're going to add the first thing we're going to unlock this layer, and we're going to lock it back. I'm going to create, click on create color, solid color. So this solid color we're going to create, I'm going to add a color fill of 019 CB8. I'll click on OK. Then I'm going to use our brushes, and the brushes that I use today, I am going to link them in the description below. And I use this channel, where I got my brushes from brusheasy, from brusheasy.com, and the links to these are in the description below. So these are my brushes. My brushes are here. I downloaded these brushes from brusheasy.com. So do it to visit brusheasy.com to get your free painter Photoshop brushes. It's about 32 MB here, but it's not in the link in the description below. So I'll just give you a link to the brushes I use in this video. Thank you very much. So I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to create a Ctrl Shift N, create a new layer. I'm going to name this one brush 1. I'm going to go to our brush 2, click on B on the keyboard. We'll go to our general brushes now. I've already installed the brush. We'll go to number 16. Go to this 16. Free print brushes here. That is the free print brush here. Free painter Photoshop brushes 2. So we'll just, the first one here is called number 16 here. So I'm going to use it too. I'm going to use this particular color code I use for it. I use F0. I'll just write it here. F0E 240. Alright. Then I'm going to just take down the size of this. I want to stamp this here. Make sure my flow is in 100%. Stamp this here. Make sure my flow is in 100%. 100%. I'll stamp this here. Alright. So what I will do with this, I will just Ctrl T, press Ctrl T, and I will scale it, hold Alt, scale it a bit, then I will try and twist it, rotate it a bit. So I'll click on OK here. I'll move this down here. Then I will create on that new layer, Ctrl Shift N on my keyboard to create a new layer, Ctrl Shift N. Make sure nothing is selected, Ctrl Shift N. I'll select this one, Ctrl Shift N. Ctrl Shift, hold Ctrl Shift and press N. If it doesn't work, I'll just go to this. Let me try it again. Shift N. What's happening? Oh, never mind. But we're going to name this brush 2. I'm going to name this brush 2. I'll go to our brush. I'm going to the next brush is in that painter brush. I'm going to go to number 21. Number 21 here. A brush that looks like this. Looks like this, exactly like this. I'm going to bring down the size, and I'm going to scale, bring the size up using the brackets, the left brackets. Click on, make sure our layer is on brush 1. Remember, I want to change the color to white color. Okay, click on this. Just let's X on our keyboard. Right, is in white. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to Ctrl T this, press Ctrl T. I'm going to rotate this upward like this and take this to the side like this. Good. Let's compare this. Okay. Rotate this, click on good. Take it down to the side like this. Alright. And we use to scale this down and take it up a bit. Alright. The next thing is to drag in our logo that we downloaded from our exercise file in the description below. We'll drag in our logo, drag it into Photoshop like this. Then we are going to click on create clipping mask here, create clipping mask. Then I'm going to scale this one here, scale it. It's too big. I'm just going to scale it a bit. Then I'm going to hold control on my keyboard. I'll make sure this one is down here, and I'll click on OK. Click on Ctrl 0. I'm going to click on this, hold control my keyboard. I am going to hold control and drag this out here. Hold control down. Make sure your control is holding down. Make sure your control is held down. Your held down control, and you drag this one out. Alright, you drag this one out like this. Oh my god, oh my god. So yes, we have this now, and what we're going to do, I'm going to bring in our first image here. We're going to bring in our first image here, which is this image of him. We are going to bring in him here, and we are going to create clipping mask again, another clipping mask here. Create clipping mask here. To move this head up a bit. I'm going to create clipping mask here. Then we're going to duplicate this, Ctrl J. I'm going to rasterize this layer here. Rasterize this layer. I'm going to use my pen tool on this layer to just select around this guy here. Select here, select here, select here, select here, select here, select here, select here. Select alright. Select alright. I'm going to click on selection. I'm going to click on OK. I'm going to click on Ctrl Shift I. I'm going to click on delete. So I have this. Oh, I have this. Right, I have this. So I have the head separate and this one inside separate. So you see this. I'm going to convert this one to smart objects. I want to name this one small head. Alright, small head. Then I'm going to add the gradient map to this. I'm going to add the gradient map to this. I'm going to click on this. Let's lock this layer first. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to click on gradient map adjustment, gradient map. I'm going to click on create clipping mask here. Click on this first layer. Click on this. Click on this. I'm going to click on this shadow. I'm going to click on this color here. This, add my first color. I'll click on OK. I'm going to drag this one back here. I'll make sure the location here is 61. I'll Ctrl Z it. Make sure this location of this yellow is 61 here. I'll make sure it's 61. 61. I'll make sure that this one is in 44%. 44. I'll Ctrl Z to bring it back. I mistakenly delete it. Let's drag this one to 44 here. I'm going to drag it with my mouse so that don't lose it. Drag it carefully. Or I'll just type 44 here. If it's not going to answer, I'll just type it. Just select it and type 44. Right. 44. And then I will just click this one and I'll add white here. White. So what I can just do here, I'll change the overlay to overlay. I'll change this blending mode opacity to 17. Change opacity to 17. Alright. So I've already added textures. I've already added camera filter to this, so you don't need camera filter again to it because I've already done that. So I've already done that to that. So you don't have to add camera raw filter to that again. Right. So I'm going to duplicate this layer. I'm going to drag this one, hold Alt and drag this one. I'm going to create clipping mask with that, create clipping mask with that. Right. So I'm going to bring in my second characters, like bringing this one here, paste it here, right? Mahrez 2, bring this one here and just drop it here. Save them like how I did them in last project, so I save them like that. So this is the design like this already. So we're going to add dodge and burn. I'm going to add several adjustments to these layers. But before that, I want to just make some adjustments to this logo here. I'll just rename this one and make it logo here. And I will add selective color to this one. Go to my adjustments, click on selective color. This icon that's like this. This icon that's like a board. Selective color. Make sure it's clipped to the logo. Then I'll click on add. I'll go to yellows. And I will add to the sign. I will add -79. I'll add magenta. I'll add -77. All right. So as you can see that this yellow of this, let me remove this. Yellow of this is now the same thing with this. So if I remove this one, you see that the yellow is different. So I made the yellow of this logo to be the same thing with this one. So that is just the selective color to select a particular color. So I selected the yellow as my color, and I did that. So that is that. The next thing I did here, I'm going to add some lights effect at the back here. So I'm going to click on I'm going to create this. I'm going to click a new layer here. I'm going to add a new layer here. I'm going to add a new brush, a new color, E5. The color code is on the screen. E5, F6, FB. Click OK. Then I'm going to click on my brush tool. Make sure it's on the soft round brush. Let's go back to the top. General brushes, soft round brush. Alright, I will bring this down. I'll add that one there. Just click on that. So I can have this. I'll name it lights. So make sure it's at the back of this man's head. Like I'm going to make like a light like this, like a light like this. Let's just create a new solid color. Alright. So my plan was to my brush X. My plan was to like make like the light come from here and shine on this Mahrez 1 here, Mahrez 2 here, and shine on the back of the head here. So that is the plan of my light here. So this is it. That's my plan I wanted to do there. So the light will shine here, light will come from here, shine on this part of him, shine on this part of him here, shine on this part of him here. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to make some adjustments with the color dodge and the dodge and burn, adjustment to the eyes and to the skin. So I'm just going to do that. I'm going to show you how to do that in this video. So let's go on. With that, I can delete this layer here. I can delete this layer. So just for explanation, I'll just click on select this one, delete layers. All right. I want to go back to this light layer. I'm going to go to double click on it. I'm going to open this layer style. I'm going to blend if layer style. I'll drag this one to 147. Yeah, 147. Perfect. I'll make sure it's on 147. I'll just leave it like this. So I have this on him. I'm just touch him. No. I'll make sure it's that color X. Make sure it's that. Alright. So what I have is this. I have this here on him. This bright light on him. As you can see, blended to his skin. So I can reduce the opacity of this. So opacity of this to 43. I can make it 45. Alright, and I'll just lock the layer to avoid anything that will obstruct it. So let's just add the remaining things here. I want to duplicate this one here, this brush too. And take this up here, and I will bring it here. So I will just rotate this here, rotate this here. I'll click on good. Let's see what I can just Ctrl T and just swap it up minus. So I'll have this layer. I'll just select this one and move it here, and I'll rotate it again. Just have the edges of this touching about my design. Ctrl 0 here. I'll move this layer down here. Alright, I will hold Alt and drag this one. So I have on that part of it here. I will Ctrl T, and I will screw this here. This is my design using brushes, nothing complex. Right. Okay. Alright. I can move this one down a bit. Alright. So next I want to name this one. I'm just going to group this one. I'm just going to name this one extra brushes. Alright. I want to add on that layer here. I'm going to do a kind of shadow for them at the bottom. Like a foot shadow, ground shadow, create an artificial ground for them. I'll just go dark here, and I will go to my brush to make sure it's at the soft round brush. I'll make sure the hardness is at 0%. Then I'll zoom in, increase the brush size of this, then press X to go to the dark layer here, like this. Click on this, just put on that, then I will click on that one. P, just drop on this. So what I will do next, I'll click on the first brush, ground. I'll name this one ground 1. I'll name this one ground 2. Alright. Then ground 1, I will press Ctrl T on it. I will remove this maintain aspect ratio. Move it, make sure it's deselected, and I will drag this down like this. Make sure it's very flat. And I'll put it on down here. I'll do the same for this one. I will Ctrl T, drag it, make sure it's down like this. So it's flat. Alright. I've created my artificial layer here. And what I will do is this, I will Ctrl Z. Then I will make sure that these are, I'll also make sure I reduce the opacity, change the blending mode to I'll change the blending mode to darken color. I'll just go with darken color and I'll lock the 2 layers. So I've gone with darken color. So I can have this, and now we just make sure that the layers are 50% or 55%. Lock the layers. So we're done with that, and we are going to be adding. I'm almost done with the design. We're going to be adding our shadows. We're going to be adding lights, effects. We're going to be doing our skin retouching to this. So I left this part for the last, almost the second last part of the design. I'll just go to our skin retouching and the skin retouching. That's the last part of this design. So what we're going to do here, we're going to go to this our face, our head. We are going to do the first thing. What we want to do, our eyes here. We want to do our dodge and burn first. So we'll go to this above this gradient map. We're going to click on this. We are going to go to fill. We're going to click on fill or shift F5. We're going to overlay. We're going to fill with 50% gray. We are going to click on OK. Now create clip your mask. So you can see that it's filled with 50% gray. We're going to click on overlay. Alright. So you can actually zoom into this. Z on our keyboard. On our keyboard, we can zoom into this, and you can see. So we'll go to our dodge and burn tool. This is our dodge and burn tool. This is by pressing O on the keyboard. So you go to either your dodge and burn tool. Press O on the keyboard. So this one that is like a hand is our burn tool, and the burn makes the darker areas more dark, and the dodge makes the lighter areas lighter. So we're going to start with dodge. Dodge first. We're going to dodge. Make sure the exposure is at 50%. This is the exposure is at 50%, and you can use your graphics tab. If you have a graphics tab, you can use your graphics tab if you have a graphics tab. So you can just reduce the size of this and make sure your doesn't matter. Paint on this. Make sure this is set to black. Okay, this is white. Alright, so this is your dodge tool. You paint out the areas that are dark. Increase the exposure if you want to get better result. Increase the exposure to 20. So you just paint over it. The face. I want the face to be brighter. I want the neck to be brighter also. It's looking as if there's no change on it, but you will see the change very soon. The hair to be brighter, the ears to be brighter. You will see the changes very soon. So if I off this layer, you can see that there's change in it. I want to increase the exposure. Increase the exposure of this. I will paint on this, paint on this, paint on this, paint on this, paint on the face. Drag, just increase the general exposure of the. Alright, see? Then go to my bone. Click on this. Go to my bone tool. Now go to my bone. I'm going to add my bone here. I want to bone this place. Make these areas that are dark or make them darker. Alright. These areas are dark. Make them darker. Alright. Where you have your shadows, just make them darker. Alright. Make space darker. Make the hair, general hair darker so you can see the difference between your dodge and your bone too. Just makes areas that are darker. So I'll just select all these places. Alright, so that's that for this one. So you close this, if you off this, close this, you see the changes between that and this. Then the next thing we're going to adjust the eye. You know the eye is dark. I'm going to click on our zoom tool. I want to adjust the eye here. I'm going to click on this layer here. I'm going to add adjustments. To add adjustment here. I'm going to add curves here. I'm going to drag these curves out. drag this cloth out. I'm going to click on this, right click on this, and to cancel this, click on this. I'll click on clipping mask. Clipping mask, okay. Then we're going to click on this. We're going to click on Control I to invert this. So we're going to make sure that your foreground color is set to black. By pressing X on your keyboard, make sure that this foreground here is black. Then you can zoom in on your eye. Your eye here, zoom in my eye. I'm going to select the brush, I'm going to select my brush here. I'm going to select my hard brush. My brush here, click on B. Make sure my brush is the hard round brush. And I'll reduce the size. Go here, reduce the size. Just click on it again. Click on this. I'll reduce the size. Go direct to my eyes. I can see zoom in. I want to go to my brush. I see reduce the size of this. Then I will just paint over the eyes. Make sure my foreground color is set to white. So it's set to white. I just paint over the eyes. I don't like this. I will make sure the flow is set to 20%. Make sure the flow is set to 20%. I will just paint over the eyes here. So you can see that the eyes is just getting brighter. Paint over the eyes here. Paint over the eyes here. Whiten my eyes. Let's see. Do I have teeth? I can also whiten. I can just whiten this part of his mouth. Alright, 0. So here I have this. Now let's see the difference. Let's close this one now. We have this. See, the eyes are dark and the mouth. So we have the eyes selected. Make sure, don't forget to select, make sure your foreground is white. So that is that for the face. Then we're going to add, okay, we've added our gradient map to that. Let's add the gradient map on top of everything. Alright, so the gradient map is on top of everything. So we're going to do the same for this Mahrez 1 here. So this is Mahrez 1, this is Mahrez 2 here. We're going to zoom into him. We're going to add our dodge and burn. I'm going to click on this. I'm just going to speed through this one so that it won't waste our time. So I just did the same thing with that. So that I'll add my dodge and burn to the face, add my dodge and burn to the body, and I also add my selective colors to improve the whites here. And those are that. I'll just speed through this one so that we don't waste our time on the entire design. So I'll just speed through the dodge and burn. So I'll show you other parts. I'll speed through the dodge and burn. So let's go. So I've completed the dodge and burn. So you can see the difference between this, and we have added some texture to the body. He brought out the texture of the body more than that. So I'm going to adjust the eyes of this guy here. I'm going to click on adjustments. I'm going to add curves here, and I'm going to boost this curve, I'm going to click on. Alright, click on this. Let's click on this. Create with the mask. Then let's click on this thing. I'll cancel this. I'll click on Control I. I'll invert this, and I'll go Z here. I'll zoom into this. Zoom in. I'll make sure I don't zoom in too much. I want to select my brush tool. Make sure it's my hard round brush I've selected here. Then I can still zoom in. I can still zoom in here, brush here. And I will zoom out and just paint over the eyes here. Paint over the eyes here. And I will paint over the teeth here. Zoom out like this. Control 0. So I can see my difference between my original eyes and these eyes. Well, the eyes out. The eyes are lit up. Right. So we are done with that. So the next thing we do here is that we are going to add in our gradient map like we added before. Our gradient map helps us to blend our color, blend the colors well. So I'm just going to duplicate this here. I'm going to hold Alt and drag this, hold Alt and drag this up here. Make sure my gradient map is up here. Now we click on this. I click on create clipping mask. Just add it to this. I'll drag this one. Below this one, I'm going to click on this. Create clipping mask here. Alright, so this is one, Mahrez 2. To select these layers here. I'm going to name one is Mahrez 2. This is Mahrez 3. So this is 3, this is 2, and this is going to be dodge and burn. Dodge burn. This is dodge and burn. Alright, this is eyes. Nice. Alright. So for this, I'm going to add selective color to this, so that I will adjust some of the whites. Like you can see, the white is not balanced, not as bright as it should be. I'm going to add adjustment. I'm going to add selective color to this. Then I'll go to my whites. I want to reduce the whites to about the cyan about -48. -48. As you can see, it's changing. Then reduce the magenta to -77, 78. Alright, so you can see the difference. The whites, look at the whites here, just look at the whites here. You see the difference that it made to that. Alright, I've just made it white. Then I'll go to this to here, and I will add selective color under the dodge and burn, or add adjustment, or add selective color here. And I will go to science, increase the science here to make sure that this color, this color of the shirt is the same color with this. I'll increase the science to 30. I'll increase the science to 36. About 36. Then I'll go to whites. So I'll go to whites and I'll increase the whites to -34. Reduce the cyan to -34. We use the magenta to -27. -27. Alright, so you can see the difference now. Boosted the color of the shirts and the white, so you can see that the color was not matching this original blue, the blue. So it's like make sure the colors are matched with this one, right? So I think we are done with that and this on the dodging and burn and everything here. So we're going to go to that light layer here that I locked. I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to Control J it. I want to put it on top of this one here, top layer, on top 2. On top, I'm just going to move it here. I'm going to lock this one back. Lock this one here. Alright. So I'm going to move this one here, lock it. And I'm going to like create clipping mask. I'll clip it to this. Alright, I'll make sure it's out here. I will clip it to this layer. Make sure I bring it to this layer here. On top of layer, on top of this 3 here. Control T. Make sure it's smaller. Hold Alt. Control Z. I'll hold Alt, Control T, I'll hold Alt, and make sure this maintain aspect ratio is there. Hold Alt, make sure it just reflects on only the side of him here. So this is it here, it's reflecting here. As you can see, it reflects on this side, on this side. So it brings like a light kind of view on this. So Control 0. And next thing I'm going to do here is that I'm going to duplicate this light again, and I'm going to double click on it, and I'm going to move this one back here, and I'll make this one light general. Okay, Control 0. Then I'm going to scale this light up, be big. What I'm going to do is that I'm just not going to do this. I'm going to create on that one. I'll delete this one, and I'll create a new layer. I'll click on B, and I'll type in that color code I used before, which is E5 F6 FB. Alright, I'll click on OK. Now click on B here. I'll stamp here. I want to increase the layer, the size. I'll make sure it's on my soft round brush here. Soft round brush here. And now I want to increase the size. Make sure it's big. Alright. Make sure it's not too big. I'll just stamp. Click on X. Stamp this color here. Then click on Control 0. Change the opacity to turn the blend mode to screen. Now just move this over here and see this over here, and I'm just going to increase the size a bit. Just drag it out. Alright, now this one here, Control 0. You can see it created an edge here, and I don't want that edge, so I'll just go to my B. Of course, we go E, my eraser to make sure it's this eraser to make sure this is also soft round brush. So I'm just going to touch this layer. I want to reduce the flow to 20% and make sure that that edge doesn't show. Edge doesn't show. So alright, this is it. So I have this stone. I want to lock this layer and rename it General Lights. Alright, I want to lock this one. Lock this layer. Alright, so I'm going to move this down. I'm going to move this one here. I'll lock this one so that it doesn't move. I'll make sure this one is bright. Alright, so I'll lock this one here. So the last thing for me to do now is to do my write of my text. So I will type out my text here. Riyadh Mahrez 26. Right. I'll change the color to dark of this. Change the font modes to the font to Azonix. I will scale this up a bit. I'll put this one down here. I will make sure it's in the center. Control A and click on, make sure you are on the move to Control A and click on this, align to the center. Alright. Now make sure this one is 2.5 and make sure the size is 2.5, character is 2.5. Click on it. Then I will expand the tracking. Alright. I will duplicate this so that it comes out well. Duplicate this, Control J, and I will merge these two layers together. Merge layers. Convert to smart object. Rasterize this layer. Oh, just leave them like that. Right. The next thing, I'll type Mahrez here. Type Mahrez here. Click on this. Type Mahrez. and I'll change the character to white, pure white. Then change the font to Tahu. And change the size back to 0. Change the size back to 0. I'll increase the size to 43.27. Then I will move this down. Move this down here. Move this down here. Alright, I have this on the back here. So I have this here. I'll lock this one so that it doesn't move. I don't just lock this. I'll lock this. Alright, I have this here. I have this here. Ctrl T on my keyboard, move this here. Alright, move this here. Alright, I want to duplicate this. I'm going to close this layer first. Now select this one, open this one. I will select this. I will select this and select the control on it. Alright, I'll hold control and select this, double click on this. Then I will click on this layer and click on backspace. Then I can control A, control D to deselect this. So this, when I click on that backspace, it has just created a hole there. So let me just do it again for clarification. So you can see there's this. I'll click on this, hold control, double click on this, good. And I'll click on this layer and press backspace. So make sure I'm on my brush layer, brush one layer. Before I press backspace, I'll deselect this. And I'll move this one up. Alright. Then I can unlock this layer and Ctrl T this. And I'll move this one down. This one down. Alright. And I can lock these layers here. Lock this and lock these layers here. Alright, so at this point we are done with this. But what we do next, I'm going to add in our what I call our I'm going to add in this dust texture here. Alright, you just drop this on top here, and on this layer here, I'll click on good, and I will bring it up above, all to the top. And I'll change the blend mode to screen. I'll change the opacity to 20%. I will scale this up, hold Alt, and I'll drag it up. Yeah. Alright. So what I'm going to add saturation to this. I'm going to block this now. I'm going to move this one down. I'll add general hue. Save this. No, let me not save this because I'm not going to need this again. I'm going to do this. I'm going to click on curves. I'm going to just reduce the shadows here. Alright, make it a bit darker so the lights will not be too bright. Then I'll just drag this down here. This the down represents the shadows. Just drag this down a bit. Now add on that adjustment, I'll add hue saturation and increase the saturation to about leave it like this. So you can see that it's very saturated. So I've come to the end of this tutorial. Please do well to like and subscribe and comment. Thank you very much.